Big crowd, standing room only.
Are you ready? Sure. Oh. Good evening. As this is the reorganization meeting of the school committee, it's my duty to call the meeting to order. I'm calling the meeting to order at this point, it being 6 p.m. This meeting is being video recorded and broadcast. If there's anyone else in the audience making a recording of this meeting, would you please identify yourself? Hearing none, I'll assume that no one else is doing that. At this point in time, would you please all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to have a moment of silence for Marion Fahey, a longtime teacher at Hull High School who passed away, and she's the mother of Barbara Stanley. She was a home economics teacher at Hull High School. Thank you. May she rest in peace.
I just heard that.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want the community to know she was a wonderful teacher. She was kind of in my era, and there's so many stories. A lot of my husband's friends will talk about the cooking class with Mrs. Fahey and all that stuff, so that's really, really unfortunate. I know she's been sick for a while.
It's a loss, and her daughter works for us, Barbara Stanley,
Yeah.
who's a wonderful employee also, so our condolences to the family.
We also had Philip Moloney, who used to be the shop teacher, who passed away also this past week. So.
Well, I think we should also have another moment of silence for Mr. Moloney.
Sure.
Thank you, and may he rest in peace. Tonight, we have a brief agenda, as it is our reorganization meeting. So at this point in time, it's my duty as school superintendent to ask if there are any nominations for the position of chair of the Hull School Committee. Mrs. Peters.
I'd actually like to make a series of nominations. We can certainly vote on the chair first, but then I'd like to kind of make a case for the other nominations. I'd like to nominate Eric Hipp for the chair of the school committee, because I believe that given that this year I think will be very important as far as the school study goes. Eric has identified himself as, or we've sort of identified him as an advocate for the schools and keeping the school open and a part of our community. And I think that as this endeavor moves forward, that I think Eric would be a great person to represent us for that. I'd like to nominate myself for vice chair, because I think that Eric has some being busy with that, where I've been involved with this for a long time. I'd like to offer my help. You know, we have a new member, Kelly, so I'd be happy to kind of take on mentoring her. I know we've done that in the past with school committee members, so I'd be happy to take that role away from you if you so allow. And then I'd like to nominate David Twombly for secretary.
That's comprehensive, and at this point in time, only because of our policy, if the committee is agreeable, I'd like to separate them.
Sure. And
see if there's a second for Mr. Hipp as chair of the Hull School Committee.
I'll second that.
There's a motion for Mr. Hipp to be chair of the school committee by Mrs. Peters, seconded by Mr. Twombly. Are there any other nominations for chair of the school committee?
Or discussion?
Hearing none, I'll open that for discussion.
Sorry, I thought you were going to call for the vote.
No, I'd like to thank you, Stephanie, for the nomination. It would be my honor to be the chair of the school committee. I appreciate particularly the motion being made by you, as we have not always gotten along, but I think that one of
We've gotten along, we just haven't always agreed.
That's more accurate, yes. That's actually what I was about to say. As opposed to some of the other boards in town, I think that this board has actually dealt with disagreement in a positive way. And we do get along even when we disagree. So I totally agree with that comment. So I would very much appreciate, I do very much appreciate the nomination, and we'll see.
Is there any other discussion?
I just want to say that, Eric, be prepared for an awful lot of communication. You're going to be inundated.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, I mean, kind of echoing what Marion is saying, I think that, Eric will do a great job as the chairperson, but I do think it is a pretty big job, and the most important part of the whole job is really the communication. A lot of times, the superintendent's going to just call the chairperson and kind of communicate with him, either through email or phone conversations. So it's really important that you communicate out to us to make sure that we're all in the loop, whether it's about the budget or whatever the matters are. So, but I think you'd be a great addition to doing that, and I think that you'll do a good job, and I think it's good to kind of change it up a little bit, so good luck.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll take a roll call vote on this. Ms. Huxtable?
I agree.
Aye or nay?
Aye.
I figured I'd let you go first. I should have let you go last. I was trying to be kind. I was trying to be nice. Mr. Hipp?
Aye.
Ms. Hart?
Aye, Peters.
Aye, Twombly.
It's unanimous. It's a 5-0 vote. Congratulations, Mr. Hipp. At this point in time, I have to hand the gavel over. Are you two going to-
part of the year.
I don't like handling this over, but you two have to switch seats.
Well, no, they don't.
We can stay here for
Not for
right now.
tonight.
Yeah, for now.
But tonight,
Switch later,
all
yeah.
right. And you'll throw me off.
You'll just have to pretend you're left-handed now. Okay, again, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it, and I will do my best to do my best. So at this point, I believe our policy is to open the floor for nominations for vice chair. We had, I guess, a motion by Ms. Peters to nominate herself as vice chair.
Second that.
Is there a second for that
I'll
motion?
second that.
All right, so second by Ms. Hart. Are there any other nominations? Okay, here.
I'd like to nominate David Twombly. I think he would be great in that position. Do I talk?
Oh, sure, no, go right ahead.
I think he'd be great in that position. He brought up a lot of good points. When we got close to the budget hearing for town hall, I thought there was a lot of points in keeping us kind of on the ball next year when we do the budget, making sure that we have numerous drafts before. So I thought he had a lot of great points. I think he's a great position.
Thanks a lot, Kelly. I appreciate that. But I think, I think we kind of stick, in my opinion, I think that's definitely be a great asset as far as vice chair. I think that she'd be a great mentor for you as far as helping you out and stuff. And certainly you can call me. I can help you out too. I think we all kind of work as a team, so I don't think that that's going to be an issue at all. But I do think that I have no problem with Stephanie being the chair, the vice chair, I should say.
Okay. Any further discussion? All right, so we will take a roll call vote again for Ms. Peters for vice chair, starting with you.
Aye, Twombly?
Aye, Peters.
I Hart?
Aye, Hipp.
Aye.
All right, so
Good.
I don't ring the gavel.
No, I do.
Get that thing out of his hand.
Put that away.
The best part.
Okay, well, congratulations, Ms. Peters. At this point, we'll take nominations for the role of secretary. And we again have a nomination by Ms. Peters. Is that motion seconded?
I will second that motion. Ha-ha, David.
I'd like
Getting thrown to the wolves. Oh, my God.
I guess I nominated David. Well, I did it because, I think when you're coming off chair, you deserve a year off.
Thank you.
From doing anything. And quite frankly, I think when you're new, I think you almost need that year to get yourself under you. And
goes fast.
a lot of the terminology is new that we might be talking about, and the minutes are a record of what we do. So I think that having somebody that has experience,
It's the worst job.
yeah, it's the worst job.
Oh, yeah.
So look forward to it next year.
Yeah.
So I got the worst job? How did that happen?
It'll be yours for 2 years after David's done with it. So I just think that that's why I did it.
Thank you, Steph.
Any further discussion? All right, we will have another roll call vote, starting down the Ms. Huxtable.
Aye.
Aye, Hipp.
I Hart?
Aye, Peters.
Aye, Twombly, begrudgingly.
Don't put that in the minutes, Diana.
You got the big prize, David. All right, so congratulations to everyone. At this point in the meeting, Before we go to business items, I'd just like to take the opportunity to, we had an election yesterday, and we have a new member on the committee, and we also had an outgoing member on the committee. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Michelle Lanner for the 3 years that she served on this school committee. She was a real asset, and particularly she worked with me on the HTA negotiations committee a couple years ago, and we came up with a new teacher evaluation instrument. I particularly appreciated her perspective as an educator, a professional educator from another school district, and she will be missed, although I'll certainly see her around town. And I'm also looking forward to working with Ms. Huxtable. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you. I'm very humbled. I've met Michelle numerous times. She was wonderful. I'm excited, and yeah, just excited to be a part of this and contribute and ideas, and I have skills, and I feel like it'll be great. So thank you all. Looking forward to it.
Okay, welcome. Does anyone else have any other comments?
I just wanted to reiterate what you said. I mean, I think it's, like, as you said earlier, we're a board that agrees to disagree, and we get along really well. And I know Michelle, we live in a great country with a democracy. Someone wins, someone loses. Unfortunately, when you lose, you're really not allowed to kind of come and say, hey, thanks for all I did, because you don't know you're going to lose the meeting before. So I know that I'm sure she'd want to convey that she enjoyed being on the committee. She enjoyed working with all the principals and the students. I know her family gave her a ton of support. It's a lot of time away from your family at meetings and with people kind of coming up to you. So I'm sure she'll enjoy her free time. And thank you. And Kelly, we're totally looking forward to working with you. It'd be nice to have some new energy.
Oops. No, I'd echo what Stephanie said and Eric. I think Michelle was a great person. She was really good on the board. She had a special education background, something that not all of us have that type of background. It's very specialized. And I think that Kelly's going to be a great addition to the board also. I think she'll bring some new perspective, new ideas. And I think that, overall we have a pretty good committee. And I think that, sometimes we disagree on things, but I think we usually have a good discussion about whatever the issue is. But at the end of the day, we're all friends and shake hands and say, okay, next day, move on. So, but I'm really looking forward to working with the board. And I think, I think Michelle did a great job while she was here. So.
I agree with everyone. We're going to miss Michelle, of course. She did a really nice job, a good woman. And I think what bears reminding, this is a volunteer board. We put in a lot of time. We work really hard, and our number one priority are the students in this district, and Michelle was the epitome of that. So thank you, Michelle, and welcome aboard, Kelly. I know you're going to work hard. I know you're looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Well, thank you.
I'm also looking forward to working with you, Kelly, and I do want to thank Michelle Lanner for the 3 great years. There wasn't a time when I had a special education question that I couldn't call Michelle and ask her for advice and say, how do you handle this in your district? And she was a true asset to the committee, and so I thank her, wish her well, and I hope she enjoys some of her time off, and I hope you enjoy your time on. Thank you.